Welcome to the world of Street Fighter, where heroes and villains clash in epic battles. But today, we're focusing on one of the most enigmatic and fearsome villains of them all, M Bison. M Bison is known for his unique fighting style, his ruthless tactics, and his mysterious background. But is he truly evil? And what is the source of his power? We'll take a deep dive into M Bison's past and examine all of his nefarious deeds, from his manipulation of others to his willingness to sacrifice innocent lives. Join us as we uncover the many mysteries of M Bison. Without further ado, let me welcome you to the Street Fighter-verse. M Bison is the villain who is motivated by self-serving interests and the desire to dominate the world at all costs. Megalomaniacal and psychopathic, he seeks to rule the world with an iron fist, while also being universally regarded as one of history's greatest martial artists, with the willingness to destroy anything or anyone who stands in his way. The egotistical Bison has a vast god complex, but is unable to empathize with others. Happy to see others suffer at his hands, and never feels any remorse for the numerous atrocities that he commits against others. The description given by Bison is comparable to that given by a real-life psychopath. His wide grin, one that exposes not just the teeth but also the gums, is indicative of Bison's malevolent and sadistic disposition. His sense of humor is twisted, and he refers to himself in the third person occasionally, possibly to allay his own feelings of self-importance. His evil is greatly reflected in the look of his eyes. His eyes have no pupils, greatly reflecting the evilness inside of him. You might ask yourself, why Bison has white pupils? Well, it is said that anime characters who don't have pupils are typically evil, prone to trances, or are possessed. Characters who usually have pupils, but lose them temporarily, are usually possessed, unconscious, mentally preoccupied, or dead. The pupils are a simple and universal visual metaphor for a person's state of mind. Almost nothing is known about M Bison's past prior to his appearances in the mainline games. His country of origin is also unknown. The only known details of his past is that he was at one point nothing more than a young martial artist like any other, but with overwhelming ambitions. He originally wielded soul power and passed down his knowledge onto Rose, who was his only disciple. However, in order to be the best in the world of martial arts, M Bison murdered his own master before giving in to complete chaos. M Bison's master was said to be the only known person in the world who could manipulate the evil power known as the psycho power at the time, and it is also said that, before his death, M Bison's master passed the power to only 3 other students, M Bison himself being one of them. Another version dictates that after killing his parents at a young age, the young Bison was found and raised by a tribe of nomadic gypsies. The leader of the tribe took Bison under her wing and trained him in the art of soul power, using one's soul as a tool. However, Bison discovered that the soul had 2 sides, one of good and one of evil, and purged all of the goodness from his soul. This created psycho power, an extremely destructive energy, with the good half of his soul manifesting as a woman named Rose. From that day on, Bison quickly built up his criminal empire, culminating in the formation of the evil organization, Shadowloo, a very powerful and deadly criminal organization that is responsible for dealing biochemical drugs and arms. Its base is located in the region of Thailand. Bison's motto is to rule his empire with an iron fist, characteristic of an evil dictator. In his operations, he has used satellites and technology to try and destroy cities across the world. One of those can be attributed to his loyal servant Fang and his Operations Change project. The 7 PSA, Psychopower Stratospheric Aircraft, nicknamed as the Black Moons, are a group of doomsday weapons controlled by Shadowloo. Black Moons are part of Operation Chains, which was planned by Shadowloo to cause chaos in order to increase Bison's psycho power. Each Black Moon requires a control key, shaped like a small piece of chess, to be activated in a control device in the Shadowloo headquarters, which will cause them to detonate and release a powerful electromagnetic pulse, disabling electronics in a wide area. They were set above the United States of America and other important countries from around the world. Other aspects of his evilness is his brainwashing. In Street Fighter II, M Bison controlled Ken with his psycho power, brainwashing him in the process. After this event, Ken became very violent, which is why this version of Ken is affectionately known as Violent Ken. He was vulnerable to mind control because of Ken's jealousy over Ryu's fighting ability. as the outstanding individual that he is. Bison used this as an opportunity to imbue Ken with psycho power and turn him into a pawn for the Shadaloo. Ken luckily broke free later. Another of Bison's evil endeavors is his repeated attempts in capturing Ryu, with the purpose of using Ryu's body as a host's body, or brainwashing Ryu into becoming a soldier of the Shadaloo. Bison has even gotten on a semi-truck and tried to run over Ryu for the sake of being bluntly evil. One of the worst acts of Bison is the brainwashing and kidnapping of teenage girls, with the purpose of creating an elite group of personal assassins called the Dolls. His brainwashing at one point had such a hold over the dolls that if he were to die, so would they. The tragedy behind Cammy. When Cammy was first introduced into the series, she had a convenient case of amnesia, forgetting her origins. It was later revealed that she had worked alongside M Bison, as part of the Shadaloo dolls as an assassin for Bison, which brings me to my next point. All the murders Bison endured. One of them is that he killed the parents of Juri Han. Her father, a famous Korean lawyer, had a case against the Shadaloo. Finding their whereabouts, the Shadaloo killed them and almost killed Juri Han, as she survived a bullet through her eye socket. Another one is Bison and the Shadaloo stealing the Thunderfoot tribe lands and killing T-Hawk's father. A third one we can talk about is the killing of Giles' best friend and mentor, Charlie Nash. Charlie had caught up with Bison and been shot by an aircraft multiple times on his back, before falling down a cliff. Last but not least, we can speak about the death of Dorai, Chun-Li's father. As a young girl, Chun-Li's father attempted to protect her from Bison and his evil organization, only to be killed. It is said that the assassin sent to kill Chun-Li's father was Cammy White, while under the spell of Bison. It's really absurd to think that someone who has caused so much distress in the Street Fighter universe would have a master plan that would involve saving the planet and actually doing something beneficial for humanity. Even though this sounds absurd, we found a theory that a great fan of Street Fighter shares with everyone. As Stephen Main states, Bison's psycho power stems from the evil of the world. Negative emotions such as fear and anger fuel it, and in turn make the energy more powerful. The consequence of this is that it corrupts everything it touches, including its wielder. Something JP said in the trailer hints at M Bison's intent. He was obsessed, you see, with finding an appropriate vessel for his power. Bison has had a hand creating many of the characters we see in the Street Fighter series, including Cammy, Ed, Falk, and Seth, and for being the catalyst of many other character stories such as Chun-Li, Guile, and Nikali. The thing is, we don't really know Bison's origins. We know how he became the villain he is today, rejecting the good part of his soul, which became Rose. What we don't know are his reasons for doing so, outside of he wanted all the power. In Street Fighter V, Rose stated she wanted to send a message to herself in the past, to stop the seed of evil from ever taking root. In other words, we could be seeing Bison's origins through Rose's eyes. What will I be seeing? If there's a power that is fueled by negative emotions, wouldn't there also be a power that is fueled by positive ones? Yes. However, this power would be just as bad as psycho power, as it too corrupts its wielder. It explains why its wielder would be seen as a positive force in the world. But like psycho power, its user wants more and more, turning their victims into mindless husks. If this is the case, then Bison's origin story wasn't him trying to destroy the world, he was trying to save it. He was obsessed with finding a vessel, because he knew he couldn't handle psycho power, and he had just enough humanity left in him to realize it. Bison became a villain through his own actions, his desire to save the planet from a bigger threat than him corrupted by the power he wielded. He knew about G from the beginning. He wanted to stop the world from falling to G, so he decided to take it over himself. It means that, even back then, G was always there. If we look into the character's guide of Bison for Street Fighter V, it states that, and I quote, "Bison is the leader of the evil organization Shadaloo, who plans on terrorizing the world with the mysterious Black Moon. With his psycho power at maximum, we are now seeing Bison in his absolute prime, but it seemed that his real motive is not to take over the world. What could it be?" Often termed as an evil, negative, or psychotic energy, psycho power is most notably exploited by its best-known user, the leader of the Shadaloo organization, M Bison. Psycho power has been described as the dark side of the soul power, a power demonstrated by Rose. According to M Bison, psycho power feeds off the fear, anger, and the hatred of others. This energy can also affect the skin, body color, eyes, and hair of people, as shown in the case of Violent Ken and Bison. Psycho power is not an inherently evil power, but rather an alternate form of surpassing one's limits, much like soul power and the Satsui no Hado, and that labeling it as one makes it difficult to fully suppress its negative influence. This is demonstrated by Ed and Falk, who use Psycho Power for the sake of helping others. In the Street Fighter II complete file, it states that nothing is known about the history of Psycho Power and the users before the time of Shadowloo, including how M Bison obtained the secrets of Soul Power's negative aspects, except that it is amplified by negative emotions such as hatred, and that to master it, one must purge all good and light within oneself. According to the World Warrior Encyclopedia, it is rumored that in the past, M Bison's master was the only known person in the world who could manipulate it. It is also said that, before his death at the hands of Bison, he passed the power to only 3 other students, Bison himself being one of them. Could JP be one of his other 3 students? Through its use, users like M Bison had gained a considerable amount of strength, expelling all remorse, compassion, and humanity from his soul. In addition to being used in several of his moves in the series, this energy also grants him the ability to be intangible, flight, float, teleport, use telekinesis, soul manipulation, even though they can only possess another user's body if they are exposed to Psycho Power, and control of the minds of other beings, as seen with the dolls and other Street Fighter characters. He can also feel energy scourges, regenerate via the Psycho Drive, and create a wormhole for traveling, as seen during Guile's rival battle with him in the arcade mode of Super Street Fighter IV. Could this wormhole have the ability to employ time travel as well, taking into consideration the sudden appearance of a villain like JP? However, Psycho Power can exceed the limits of his body, for example. This force is so strong that it needs a proper vessel in order to maximize its full-blown potential. Furthermore, the Black Moons used in Fang's Operation Chains were meant to sow and gather fear and other negative emotions in order to fuel Bison with even more strength. The supply of the Black Moons augmented him. This power can also be weaponized. Since M Bison is a notorious user, I will explain how he weaponized this power. First, the most notorious of his weapons, the Psycho Drive. Contrary to popular belief, the Psycho Drive is not the main energy source of M Bison. He uses it to channel and store negative energy. The energy can be used to charge his Psycho Power, or as a weapon. However, the continued use of the Psycho Drive is the reason for the deterioration of his body, which is damaging his physical and mental health quickly, while using absurd amounts of energy. Through the combined use of the Psycho Drive with the satellite Shadowloo has on Earth's orbit, it is possible for Shadowloo to shoot beams of psychic energy from anywhere in the world, and to amplify it through a magnifying glass on the satellite giant. This beam of energy is directed from the Psycho Drive to the satellite by way of one of the statues in Sagat's stage, which is revealed to be mechanical in nature. The destructive power achieved by the reflection of a mental ray on an entire city could destroy it altogether, and this is an asset that M Bison is waiting for the right time to use. The machine also grants M Bison a sort of invincibility. Whenever he is defeated, he retreats to the Psycho Drive to regenerate himself. In addition, it can be used for the purpose of brainwashing people. In Street Fighter II-V, the Crystal Idol seems to be energized by Psycho Power and has a telepathic link to Bison's mind, as it is able to call out to him, allowing him to travel into a self-contained dimension, where every power that has existed beyond space-time is contained, such as his own power and Ryu's as well. The new villain of the series in this trailer has demonstrated how he uses it. Using Departure, he creates a void of power in the air that he can turn into thorns or teleport to. He can also send out clones from across the screen with Torbalang or Embrace. In his level 3 super art, he sends powerful energy flowing through the veins of his opponent, causing them to explode at the core. So what do you like about Psycho Power? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on new theories and info. Thank you for watching. This has been your Street Fighter host. Welcome to the center stage. Our new Discord server. There you can talk with us, chat about current events going on in Street Fighter, information, theories, and lore. We'll leave the link in the description box below. We want to thank everyone for tuning in and becoming part of this Street Fighter community. We want to thank you for your positive comments towards our channel, because it only habilitates us to grow even more. From the Street Fighterverse crew, we thank you.